Here we are. Welcome, Warrior. This is your weekly Warrior wrap up on this Friday afternoon, rainy afternoon here in New York City. Welcome, welcome, every Warrior who is joining us. I already see a crowd forming. Please give me the check in where you're from, a 5x5. I want to make sure before I start talking, because I might not stop. There's so many great things happening and have happened in the last 7 days or so. I want to make sure you can all hear me and that you're all here. I see Edie's here. Let's see, Edie. Thank you for being our warrior. That's reminding everybody to hit the like button because, frankly, I always forget to say it. So thanks, Edie, for doing that. Fred, oh, come on, Fred. Fred, Rhonda's here. You know what? Fred, let me put this cursor here. Fred gifted 10 Lynn's Warriors memberships. I tell you the same thing, Fred, every time. It means the world to us that we can have more warriors involved and they will spread information. They'll learn things. They'll think about things, perhaps even critically analyze, talk to their kids. Remember, that's what we're all about here on The Warriors. So thank you, Fred, for doing that very, very much and getting us off to a really great start with this. You're making me very happy. I got to start. There's Lionel Nation, loud and clear. And Fred is never buffering. Okay. I must first relay to you that this is the Warriors' official 5th anniversary month. 5th anniversary month. I can't believe time has flown by so fast. You know, we did some things prior to being an official nonprofit. I was so fascinated. Like a true warrior, I was so passionate about, I can't believe what's happening in the United States about our kids, about protections. Why aren't people out in the streets screaming? So fast forward, I decided, well, I'll become the expert. I'll become the warrior. I'll become the one to carry the, burden for everybody. Because let's face it, all of this is kind of tough. But I'm here to tell you that so many great things are indeed happening in 2025, as I predicted, especially with the new administration. But we've got to keep at it. We can never let our guard down for 1 minute. We have to keep supporting the work we do at the Warriors. I want to start with those of you who attended might be on here. Those of you who donated or volunteered, we had an incredible event here in New York City Tuesday evening at the famous Cutting Room on 32nd Street. I am telling you, it was better than I could have even expected. We had overflowing crowds. We had, now just hear me out on this one. I wanted to create an environment. You know, I like the arts. I like my music background. I like people face to face talking, discussing, brainstorming. So I wanted to put together music. I wanted to put together fun. I wanted to put together food. Community creates change. That is our Warriors hashtag. But I wanted to also, we never forget our mission here at the Warriors, and that is education, and that is empowering survivors. And those of you who donate, that's where your funding goes, into our educational programs and our survivor empowerment. I don't even say anymore supporting survivors. I don't like that. I just decided, it's empowering them, right? It's helping them reclaim their lives, be able to live a day at a time in their life. Might be some food money, might be transportation, might be something for their children. Doesn't matter. We are empowering survivors. So we had this wonderful, I have to tell you about it because it was incredible, beautiful piano music by George Bugatti. We had a beautiful warrior, Rosie Timon. She sang the most spectacular vocal selection about her brother Jake, who unfortunately succumbed to what I call a poisoning, and it's called fentanyl. And I met Rosie because I was at a DEA event fairly recently, and she sang this hauntingly yet beautiful kind of rock song about heaven. And I thought, if it touches me that much and can make me get tears in my eyes, and that a sister can stand there and sing about her brother, then I can carry that forward. So I brought Rosie in. People loved her. And then we had Angela Williams, the subject matter of a book called Vegas Concierge. And she worked on this book along with author Brian Joseph, who unfortunately was due to fly in, but Newark Airport, who knew, shutting down the other day, all the United flights. And after, well, it's delayed 6 hours. It's delayed 4 hours. It's delayed 2 more. I said, Brian, go home. And when I said that, he's in Vegas, actually shut down all the flights into Newark with the United. So we unfortunately did not have him. But Angela has an incredible story. I am urging all of you to buy this book, to look into this book, to read about this book, Vegas Concierge. It's about hip hop. Oh, how timely with Dirty Diddy, corruption in America, and sex trafficking. It all goes together, right? We're going to get into that a little bit. Angela and I sat on the stage, the beautiful stage at the cutting room, and we discussed the book. You know, it's her story to tell. We at the Warriors, when I talk to a survivor, she calls herself that, an overcomer, okay, survivor, whatever. It's their story. I'm not going to prompt them, push them. The story they tell, if I'm with them one day, they may want to go more in depth, and another day they may not want to. So I'm not pushing anybody. And she did a beautiful job. She's strong. She's brave. We flew her into New York. We put her at a hotel. We took care of her. And that's what you have to do with survivors. You take care of them. And if you can't, then you don't work with them. You don't deal with them. You don't anything. Because there's a lot of organizations I've come to realize around the United States, they use that survivor story. That I call it from showbiz. Anybody here in showbiz will know this. The dog and pony show, parade somebody out, bells and whistles, but you don't take care of them kind of thing. We take care of people here at the Warriors, and that's why your help is so critical and crucial when you do donate, because that's where our monies go, into taking care of people who need help. Let me just, before I go on, about the event, because I could talk about it all day long. We've got Gracie Loves George is here. We have Gary, Skeptic Spud. God bless you too. Thank you for those empowering words, because as we move forward, God bless. That's what we have to say. We have to be strong about everything. The event was spectacular. Go on our Facebook, go on our X, look at some of the pictures, because I know the next time we do an event at the Warriors, you are going to want to fly in, walk, take a train, take a bus, ride a bicycle to get to it, because it was that fantastic. And you know why I know it was that fantastic? Because every person who attended said to me that they felt the love in the room. They felt the passion. They felt, I just saw a little bit of a screen blurb there, but I'll keep going on. They just felt the love in the room. They had a wonderful time. They met so many good people in the room. And it really was it's an incredible venue, but incredible people we had there. Incredible people who are interested in making our communities better. I can't tell you how people at the end coming up to me, what can I do to help? How can I be a warrior more? So many things, in-kind donations. We had a silent auction. Everything was snapped up. I couldn't even believe it. The icing on the cake, run of show, which I'm good at producing things. Beautiful. And then at the end, I opened up the dance floor. Yes, I did. Disco music, because you know what? I like it. We had our disco balls going on the stage. And then we had, and I didn't even tell my saint of a husband, Lionel, we had a tremendous amount of bubbles dropping from the ceiling. I don't know why. Bubbles make people happy. People were screaming, looking up, dancing, and it ended on such a high note. So I thank all of you who participated and helped us with this. It was a beautiful event. That on the heels of, now let me backtrack a little bit, coming out of Washington last week, in the process of scheduling our round table with the administration. That's all in the works. I'll keep you very well aware of that. I'll be back in Washington next week, because we have to dive in on a subject. It is so critical and crucial. Nobody really wants to hear about this one, but our great allies and colleagues at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation are presenting a wonderful event Tuesday afternoon. Pornography and how it's affecting our children. They have easy access on their devices, what it's doing to their minds, what it's doing to their bodies, how it is creating chaos. I don't say this lightly. This is a subject nobody likes. But we are not just talking here about, let's be real, everybody, because we're real at the Warriors. We're not talking about kids just seeing, videos of sex. They are seeing violent, horrific things that nobody should ever witness. And as one adult woman told me, probably about my age, a few years ago, and it always stuck with me. She said, I saw things as a child that I could never unsee. And that was something years ago. So we know all of this has increased, right? And all of this has become more normalized. People have become habituated. But I don't care what adults do. I care what is being done to kids, what kids see. And these categories of pornography now are so horrific. And again, we're a family show, so I'm not going to go into detail. Things against children, those are the big sellers. But in the meantime, because kids and these dangerous algorithms, everything I'm saying can be backed up by studies. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. Because of these algorithms, kids are seeing this on their phones. And even when a parent says, my child would never look for that, do that, they may not even be looking for anything. It just comes across their phone, or that friend of theirs says, hey, you want to see this? And now they've seen it. So this is going to be a wonderful jumping off point with our colleagues, the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, to dive in. We're going to have, again, survivors, because remember, I'm not a victim of trafficking, sexploitation, sextortion. I remind everybody, I feel so blessed because I had such a happy childhood growing up in New Jersey, and great parents and a great family and a wonderful home and great schools. And at this age now, I can realize how incredibly lucky I was and am, because in my work every day, so many have been affected in something we talk about on the Warriors: abuse, single parent household. I'll just leave it at that. I was lucky. It is my job now as a warrior to spread that, share that, and help everybody else. And that is our mission statement of empowering survivors, empowering people, empowering youth so they aren't vulnerable to fall into predation and things online, right? We're not going to stop all this. I got to be real with you. Ending human trafficking, we're not going to end it. We're not going to end it. We're going to intervene. We're going to educate. We're going to prevent. We're going to help those who are victims of this. We're going to do everything in our power. And that's why I ask you to support us, to really understand we are growing so fast. Our Washington event will be without peer. I can guarantee you this, because I know the way I work as a warrior and what I bring to the table. And I am going to create for the administration something they've never seen before. But I'll leave that until we are actually in the throes of it and getting that done. And that's happening in the near future. And to our Warriors event at the Cutting Room in New York City, absolutely incredible. That outpouring of thanks directed at me through messages, through phone calls, through donations, through in-kind gifts. I'm overwhelmed. I've been working the last 48 hours nonstop in responding and just putting the pieces in place and getting ready, because, we're coming up to, in a couple of weeks, Lifeway Network. And Lifeway, and we had our nuns there from Lifeway. Lifeway was started by a nun, Sister Joan Dauber, here in New York, and she created 2 safe houses, one in Queens and one in the Bronx. And I have been supporters of theirs, and they are of me. And they are having their 2025 event towards new life. They do it annually on June 5th. And so now we're gearing up for that. Because what's missing in all this work we do? A lot of things, but primarily safe spaces, safe housing. Law enforcement will say, Lynn, we leave them on the streets because we don't know what to do with them. There's no place to put people. No place to put kids. How sad is this? Kids, foster care. That's another program. We cannot go near that. That is a total exploitation business, in my opinion, where kids are being further harmed, trafficked, exploited, abused. And again, things are being addressed behind the scenes with the whole foster care system. None of this is easy. This is years in the making, all of these issues that have to be unraveled and dealt with. So give the administration a little time. They're working as fast and as hard as they can. They truly work 7 days a week. telling me, and everybody I've met in the administration, the passion. I mean, they're excited to be in the White House. They are excited to be in the Eisenhower Executive Office. You can feel it when you walk in the hallways. I kid you not. And they report to me, we work until we fall asleep at night. We want to be here. We want to create change. We want to be warriors like you, Lynn. Actually, somebody said that to me last week, and it made me feel so good. We're on the right path. And you are too, because you're following along. You're interested in all of this. Balloons pollute, bubbles inspire. Balloons are fun too. I just want to, nothing like balloons either. Kids love balloons. Let's see. Yes, Fred, it empowers us to share. I agree. The lighting looked fantastic. Well, Fred, it's a club, a lot of musical acts, and Lionel performs there. Actually, he has another show coming up on July 19th. So if you are in the New York area, even if you're not, I suggest you fly in. Again, bike in, take a train, walk, whatever you got to do, drive here, get to the show. Come be with friends and family and feeling good. We all need to feel good for a few hours. That was what I wanted at our Warriors event. 2 hours of feeling good, despite, we had the song from Rosie about her dearly departed brother, young man. And we had our discussion. We never lose sight of the mission, but how are we going to incorporate that into everything we do and feel good? And we accomplish that. Come to the Lionel show. It's fantastic. It is, people are just so happy to be there and eating and talking. And he asks, the audience is the show. He'll be asking the audience, what are your questions? What do you think? And people are, in my opinion, whether it's trafficking, I don't like the word politics, but I'll say what's going on, politics, government, whatever. People like to hear, kind of analysis, good analysis, answers, truths, facts. So come on board. Come on, Teresa, I see you're loving there. Create a modern day new slavery underground railroad escape system. Well, Fred, if you want to help me with that one, and how do you know there isn't one already? Things aren't always out in the public's eye about things, but to an extent, we certainly have something happening like that. The thing about the trafficking, there are so many organizations, there's so many good people doing good work. Trafficking, it's interesting. Most people are volunteers and have a day job, and they create a little nonprofit, or they volunteer with a nonprofit. I've noticed in regards to domestic violence, which is a little more of a well-oiled machine, that nobody's talking to each other. So when I started the Warriors and my vision was true collaboration, I thought, gee, this will be easy. Everybody will want to protect kids. Then I learned everybody's so busy doing their own thing, they don't want to come together, or they feel they're in competition, or they feel that they're vying for that dollar, so they think they'll lose it by collaborating. I have a different vision. I have stuck to this for 5 years now, and guess what? My way is proving the correct way, because people are coming to me now. People want to collaborate with me because I've always been very gracious in giving through the Warriors. And now we want to expand it, but we need to get everybody on the same page and sharing what I know, what I do, another organization does not do. There are no other organizations going on Nancy Grace. Yeah, I'm going to go on Nancy Grace every week and talk about Dirty Diddy. And I'm going to do it. Not only am I a New Yorker, I have a background in music. It is a case with 2 counts of sex trafficking. It is a case here in New York. I've heard from boots on the ground. Don't have any proof, because remember, heard is not proof. We want proof, right? About what an operation of sex trafficking is the hip hop/rap music, right? And the book Vegas Concierge, let's go back, Angela Williams at our Warriors event, she put her trafficker Molly Mal, a big music producer of rap music, worked with Bieber, 50 Cent, all these people. She testified, she put him in prison. There's a lot of corruption going on overall in the entertainment business, but This in particular, the music business. So again, I'm going to urge all of you, Vegas concierge, I'll put a link in the body of this video later that you can all see that and realize how all of this is such a corruption, such a corruption. I don't want to give away the story because I want everybody to read it. I want everybody to hear Angela's words with this and the incredible writing of author Brian Joseph, who, investigative reporter, who, when he was writing for a newspaper in Vegas, they actually fired him because he started writing about the truth with sex trafficking, and they didn't want to hear it. Can you imagine? So we know how complicit all of this is. So let's go through a couple of other things. Sharon's leaving. Okay, Sharon, you might be gone already. Bye. Thank you for dropping by. Edie says, Harriet Tubman, indeed. Since we last spoke, we have a new pope. The only thing I want to say about that is I hope he will talk more about the protection of children. I'm going to leave that one at that one. I've done a couple of incredible interviews. I mentioned Nancy Grace. I'll be back on Nancy Grace on Monday because we have the trial going on, and I'll find out when I'm done here. Jury selection, I believe, is supposed to be done today in New York. I don't even know how they can pick a jury because everybody here, federal court, but everybody here in New York has heard about Dirty Diddy, what he's doing. They've read something. They've seen something online. They've seen the Cassie video. So I don't know how you can find these very pure jurors. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm thinking about, I don't know. They kicked a guy off 2 days ago because he said he smoked marijuana. And you know what I thought about that? Not that I'm promoting marijuana in any way, shape, or form. But when you walk around the streets of New York, every single neighborhood I've ever been in the last year, the stench from marijuana permeates the air. So I'm thinking, unless there's something we don't know, it was reported he was kicked out, kicked off, whatever you call that, because he admitted to smoking marijuana on a daily basis. So I'm not really sure why he'd be kicked off. Another woman reported that upon hearing the word, I know we're a family program, but I'm just going to say the initials. Upon hearing the word BJ, she fainted because she's that delicate that she couldn't hear that. And the list goes on and on and on. But they did select somebody from the Brooklyn DA's office. I thought that was kind of interesting, right? And somebody else on the national who had background in the national level of law enforcement, but in New York. They're in New York now. Well, that's kind of interesting. I don't know how this guy's ever going to. I'll never believe he's even going to trial, but it looks like it's happening. But Monday should be an important day. It is believed that Cassie, the victim in that horrific video that every time I see, I get sick, where he's kicking her and dragging her, and she runs down the hallway barefoot. I pointed out something yesterday on Nancy Grace that, and I've heard this a lot, victims, when they try to run away, they're barefoot. They don't want, any shoes or anything like that. And I noticed, I never heard anybody say it about Cassie. She's barefoot running down this carpeted hallway as he is attacking her and running after her. So I don't even know how they can really have a trial, but here's what I'm going to predict, but they are. Remember, everybody's proven innocent. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. I got that one backwards a little bit. Take my word. Mark my words. Diddy is going down. In my opinion, he crushed the wrong person at a very high level, and they're done with him. He is going down. Dee Dee has joined us and says, thanking Fred for the membership. I'm here for Mrs. L. Thank you, Dee Dee. Cord is here. Fred says the UN sequestered jury members might inadvertently become 15-minute celebrities. I don't know. Fred's so good about these memberships. Really, Fred, I got to thank you again, because you know what I always say, raising awareness, spreading the word is the most important thing. I go back to, I had an incredible interview with one Sean Atwood out of the UK, and we talked about, and I think we should continue talking about her, is Virginia Giuffre. I personally will never believe she, on purpose, took her own life. I do know from sources she was having incredible physical pains from all of her. She had back surgery, spinal surgery. I've never had that, but I hear it's incredibly painful. one can easily become addicted to painkillers, right? I'm not saying she was, but you can. She also had an ongoing divorce. She was not divorced yet. For some reason, her 3 children were with her husband. They were in the midst of a divorce. She wanted to see her children, who were somewhat still children, but I think the oldest one was 19, so not a baby, and she hadn't seen them in months. I have questions. Why were the 3 kids with the father? What about that? I never really recovered from seeing her in that hospital bed with those bruises, right? She said a bus hit her into the car she was in. And that was questionable. And then the answer we got, not really an answer, well, she posted that by mistake. We haven't seen her actually in the last several months. What's going on here? We should not forget about Virginia Giuffre and that Epstein case. Will we ever get to the bottom of it? No, we will never get to the bottom of it. I do not believe, though, if Virginia may have done something accidentally. I don't know. I just know she was in the process of a divorce. She did say she wanted to see her children desperately. I don't like all the mystery around the announcement of her death. I don't like, she was in the process of renovating her farmhouse. And she was also in the process of, I believe, she was very helpful to other victims, survivors. See, people don't know this behind the scenes. I don't believe she'd leave them or her children, but we don't know. None of us will probably ever know. Hillbilly 55 says, very strange. Connie's Freedom Adventures. Oh, I like that. So glad that you're working hard for those that cannot help themselves. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Connie. I have to be a warrior for those who can't. I have to be the one. So we've had so many good things, but I'm urging you, go back, look at my last Nancy Grace. Got to keep on it. Look at my Sean Atwood. Those are all posted right here. And let's go into, there's something wonderful. Well, I want to mention, it went away, but it was announced the other day that Smokey Robinson now was abusing the staff at his home for decades, and his wife knew about it. This is what's alleged. And he would take these innocent women, cleaning women in his house, and to places in the home that had no cameras, such as laundry rooms, garages, and abuse them. And he's well into his 80s now. I feel like this exploitation, this abuse surrounds us. Now, we all know, right? We're all adults here. It has been going on forever. But I feel like in society now, there is true evil. People who may not have even gone near any of this are trying things, are doing things. It's so easy, right? We have the internet. Kids are all over the internet. So easy to manipulate them, right? Why is all this happening? A couple of reasons. It's the same reason I tell you all the time. There's so much money to be made, whether it's sextortion, all kinds of scams going on, which goes for adults too. This pig butchering I learned about from the Brooklyn DA's office fairly recently, that I was told they cannot keep full-time staff, cannot keep up. And this is Brooklyn, New York. The amount of cases on a daily basis coming in, they can't keep up happening. Why is this happening? So much money being made. But also, for instance, with trafficking, there are plenty of laws on the books about trafficking. But are they enforced? That's the questions. I have so many questions. We have to keep on top of. Let's go back. Virginia Giuffre, we should not forget her name. We need to keep talking about it. We need to seek some answers. Seek the connection. Because I'll tell you something. Prince Andrew's still walking around doing his thing, right? Nobody's doing much about him, right? So he's there. Now, fast forward. We've got these laws on the books for sex trafficking, child abuse, all kinds of stuff. They need to be enforced. Many of them are not enforced. Fast forward, this tremendous demand I mentioned a few minutes ago. People may be trying things because nothing's enforced. They may not have tried, or I'm going to meet a child online. Or ending demand, a big ask, but if we held people accountable, we could make a dent in all of this. I believe it was Finland started really holding people accountable doing this. I have to check my facts on this one. Somebody just told me about this yesterday, and right away they saw, oh, I know where it is. They saw the drop in demand. Please, the interview just went up right here on the Warriors. Lori Cohen from PACT, Protecting Against Trafficking Children, a great nonprofit based here in New York. Incredible. Lori is a lawyer. She has worked her whole life protecting kids, enforcing policy and law. That interview is for members only right now, but it's going live at 7 p.m. Eastern time for everybody. So get in there and listen to Lori. But she was telling me as soon as they enforced this, I believe it was Finland, she said, it's in the interview, that the demand dropped right away. So if we have some solutions we can start working on, at least make a dent, a big dent in all of these things. And we have to start somewhere. We cannot allow so much to overwhelm us that we can't do anything. So we've got that going on. And then a wonderful, I mentioned I'll be back in Washington this Tuesday, and I'll report after that because I have a couple of meetings set up. But also our 5th anniversary. I cannot believe it. We at the Warriors. I can't wait. So much is happening in the next year that we have planned out. It is very exciting. And I want to leave you with some positive news that there is something. I've interviewed him before. His name is Tim Estes, and he's an incredible tech guy. And it'll be launched next week. It's called Angel Q. Angel Q is a safe browser for kids. It's the most incredible thing to deal with AI. Finally, somebody's developing something. It's been in the works. Remember, things take time. I knew about this for the last several years, but it is an incredible product. If you are a parent, grandparent, you must have something like this browser in your home. So I will be listing, I believe I'll have a discount code for this, but it remains to be implemented. It's going out next week, so I'll keep you all aware of that. But it's an incredible, I have to call it a product because it is something not developed by big tech, right? This is what we need to deal with this artificial intelligence coming at us in every direction. And it's here, and you don't even know yet. But I bet a lot of the kids know already because they're using things, seeing things. They're dealing with those criminal bots, right? That are becoming friends with them. And their little brains think it's really a friend because they're into this deep discussion and relationship with a bot. And the bot can understand their feelings and how they don't like their school or they don't like their parents. Incredibly scary. Every person I talk to in any of this work will say, this is the most frightening thing. So it's up to us. Education, talking to your kids, keeping devices out of the bedrooms. I don't care how tough it is. No devices in the bedrooms for kids. Let them sleep. We've had major success across the country keeping the phones out of the classrooms. We have about 28 states right now involved in that. It's a positive thing. They can have them in their cubbies, locked up in the yonder pouches, or just collect it on the teacher's desk in the yonder pouches. And we're talking bell to bell in most places, which means from the beginning bell, the beginning of the school day, to after school. Yet for all of you worried adults, parents out there, because the biggest pushback is from the parents, is that in case of an emergency, you will not have access to your child. They will be within reach for your children, most likely in those classrooms with the child, but in the pouches. At least we're doing that, working towards that here in New York State. I'd like to also point out I'm wearing my Selena pin. Selena unalived herself. Remember, we have algorithms here on the YouTube at the age of 11 after being bullied by adult men, several of them online, unbeknownst to her mother for about a year. Hardworking single mom who gave her daughter a phone at the age of 8, thinking she could play games and Candy Crush and be in communication with her daughter while she was at work. We do the work we do. I wear the Selena pin to remind myself to be stronger, to work harder, to seek more, to educate you about these issues. We cannot at all sit back and relax because all of us have a child, a grandchild, a neighbor, a friend. we're a school teacher, we're something, and we have to get involved. Dee Dee asks, I'm also worried that there may be more bad than good out there. I grew up to believe the opposite. We all need to scream from the rooftops what is happening. Thank you. Thank you, Dee Dee, for saying that. Thank you. Dee Dee also says the coverage here in Australia was non-existent. 5-minute big clips for 2 days. I think you're talking about Virginia. Yes. And what Dee Dee said is true, because I'm the most positive cheerleader. I think my husband will attest to that, in the world. And I'm a worker, and go, go, go. I'm about, solutions, not excuses. But I am beginning to think, Dee Dee, Edie's weighing in on this too. Yes, one are the same. I'm now beginning to think, and it's a sad thing to think this way, but we have to be realistic, right? Or we're not warriors. I'm beginning to think now, there's more evil and then some good. Because how can so many people want to harm babies and children and teens? How can so many people want to do this? When you work with survivors like we do at the Warriors, and you hear their stories, and you see their faces, you say to yourself, I can't believe another human being would do this to another human being. Horrific. So it's all of our duties to get on board, to make that commitment, to become dedicated, and again, do something. And I don't care what you do, every little bit helps. It's not only money, sure. We need money at the Warriors for our education programs. We travel around. We give kids the pizza parties. We give them little swag bags. We do all kinds of things that cost money. But then also we need things to put in the swag bags, or we need in-kind donations, for hotels and for train fare and for bus fare and also airfare. You have no idea, but you know what? It's our jobs. We all have this job. So Dee Dee, 100%. You know what? You've all been incredible. I want to thank Dee Dee and Edie always for the likes, for bringing that out, Dee Dee, because I almost forgot about that. And also to be very in tune that there's so much hope. And that was the name of our Warriors event a few days ago. Giving hope, community creates change, which is our hashtag, because there's so much good at our event. I was so honored. Lifeway Network, Sister Kate, Sister Claudia showed up. Unbelievable, right? These are beautiful nuns that work with these survivors. It's a 1-year program that the Safe House is full. It's not like a shelter. It's living in, these are homes. You cook dinner, you sit together and eat. You have to clean the house, make your bed, job empowerment, training, education. It's all kinds. It's the program that works. And we can't support Lifeway enough here at the Warriors. And then also we had the Salvation Army. We had Major Margareta Iverson, along with Katarina, come. They have an incredible program here in New York called Pearl Essence, and that is for safe housing. I'll leave it at that. Kind of a secretive, they're out there, Pearl Essence. We work with them, colleagues of ours, allies of ours, an incredible program to empower survivors, right? Especially in an emergency situation. So you see, it is this full wheel I always talk about with a lot of spokes. It's the safe housing. It's the law enforcement. It's the policy work. Again, go back, look at my interview. It'll be available, or become a member. Come on, everybody, $2.99 a month. Get your videos first of, policies have to be enforced. Look at my interview with Lori Cohn. Look at Angela Williams. Her interview's on there with author Brian Joseph. Look at Salvation Army's on the Warriors channel. Look at the incredible work, but we must come together and make this wheel turn, and that's what we're doing. So Edie says, I'm going to send you one of my Harriet Tubman paintings. You're the white Harriet gunman. Thank you, Edie. I like that. I love that, Edie. I want to say, all of you, please make sure you follow linswarriors.org. Please take your time, the weekend's upon us, to perhaps share this interview. Raise aware, that is doing something. Look into the information we provide. I can't wait to tell you more about my trip to Washington next week. And that also we have the Angel Q, this browser coming out that's safe for kids. It's incredible. And with that, I want everybody, remember, every day, we do it for Selena. We do it for all the children, whether they're our children or not. There are children. There is a lot of good. And you know what? A lot of it starts with Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you follow along on X, on Facebook. You donate, you volunteer, you talk to me, lynn@lynswarriors.org, and be part of our Warriors family. But in all of that, make sure you also take a couple of minutes a day, relax, breathe, stare out a window, walk on some grass, do something for yourself, because that empowers you to be a better warrior. And with that, remember, when you wake up each and every day, first of all, thanks for joining me. Go out and be a warrior.